November 25, 1941. In the tranquil Mediterranean, Britain's mighty battleship HMS Barham glides on her routine patrol. A floating fortress armed with 8 15-inch guns and a proud legacy stretching back to the Battle of Jutland. Then, in one harrowing instant, an unseen force shatters everything. 3 German torpedoes rip through Barham's flank, triggering an explosion so violent it's captured in a single unforgettable reel. For decades, the footage was shrouded in secrecy, the ship's fate hidden from families and the nation itself. Nearly half a century later, the lost wreck would finally be found, and with it, the true story of how a symbol of British naval power was obliterated in moments. How could such a titan fall so quickly? And why did the truth stay buried for so long? Launched in 1914, HMS Barham entered service as one of the Royal Navy's most advanced warships. A Queen Elizabeth-class battleship built for the age of dreadnoughts. At over 31,000 tons, she carried the scars and honors of 2 world wars. Her name etched into the rolls of Jutland and the Mediterranean. 8 15-inch guns, each weighing nearly 100 tons, formed her main battery, capable of hurling shells the size of small cars over 20 meters. 13-inch of armor protected her hull, a steel bulwark meant to withstand the heaviest enemy fire. Beneath her decks, 4 turbines drove Barham to speeds over 24 knots, remarkable for a ship of her bulk and firepower. For more than a quarter century, Barham sailed as a symbol of British naval strength. Her silhouette, tall bridge, triple turrets, and broad beam became a familiar sight from Scapa Flow to Alexandria. During the First World War, she fought at Jutland, the greatest clash of battleships ever seen. Through the interwar years, Barham underwent modernization, new fire control, improved anti-aircraft guns, thicker deck armor. Yet for all her upgrades, the world around her changed faster than steel could be reforged. By 1941, Barham remained a formidable presence, but newer threats, aircraft and submarines, pressed against the armor of tradition. Still, to her crew and to Britain, she was the pride of the fleet, a floating fortress entrusted with the fate of the Mediterranean. From Alexandria, Egypt, the Mediterranean fleet gathers under the late November sun. HMS Barham steams in formation beside her sisters, Queen Elizabeth and Valiant. Around them, a ring of destroyers: Hotspur, Jackal, Kipling, Havoc, Jervis, Kelvin, Nubian. Kingston cuts wide arcs through the water. Their orders are precise. Intercept Axis convoys carrying fuel and ammunition to Ram's Africa Corps in North Africa. Every ship and sailor knows the stakes. Supplies reaching the enemy could tip the desert war. The fleet's pattern is deliberate, a layered defense with destroyers sweeping ahead and abeam. Their sonar searching for submarines. On board, the day settles into routine. Gun drills, lookout rotations, the distant hum of turbines. Signals pass between bridges, plotting convoy sightings and enemy movements. Yet beneath the surface, unseen dangers multiply. U-boat prowl these shipping lanes, their presence felt in every order, whispered along the deck. The Mediterranean, so often painted as a corridor of sunlight, hides its threats well. As the ships press westward, the horizon holds only the promise of another patrol. But every officer on the bridge, every rating at his post, understands that a single mistake, a missed echo, a shadow in the periscope could bring disaster. Above the calm, the fleet moves as one, bound by duty and the silent knowledge that somewhere out there, the enemy is watching. Beneath the surface, a silent adversary watches. U-331, commanded by Hans-Diedrich von Tschhausen, moves with the patience of a predator. At just 28 years old, von Tschhausen faces the Royal Navy's most formidable warships with only a steel hull and the discipline of his crew. The Mediterranean above is calm, but inside the cramped submarine, every man is tense. Periscope raised, von Tschhausen studies the British formation. Battleships and destroyers steam in tight columns, their destroyer screen weaving a net of sonar and vigilant eyes. Yet the net is not perfect. He waits. The submarine's electric motors hum softly, masking their approach. Depth charges have rattled the hull before, but today, luck and skill bring U-331 to the edge of the fleet defenses. Through the periscope, Barham's gray hull fills the lens. So close, he can make out figures on the deck, the sweep of her bridge, the shimmer of spray along her bow. The range closes to 375 meters. Orders pass in whispers. Torpedo tubes flood. Mechanisms click into place. The men aboard U-331 know what this means. One shot. One chance to strike before the destroyers close in. Von Tissenhausen steadies himself, aware that this moment will define not just the patrol, but his life. Above, the British ships maintain their course, unaware of the danger sliding beneath them. The hunter prepares to fire. At 16:25, the order is given. 4 torpedoes leave U-331's tubes, streaking through the dark water toward Barham's port side. There is no warning, no time for evasive action. 3 torpedoes strike in quick succession, each blow sending a shockwave through the steel hull. The first impact tears open the machinery spaces. The second and third drive deep, rupturing compartments near the magazines. Barham lurches hard to port. Within seconds, decks tilt at a sickening angle. Water floods in, drowning engines, snuffing out lights, and trapping men below. Damage control teams scramble, but the list grows steeper. Doors jam, ladders become cliffs. Oil and steam hiss from broken pipes. Fires spark in the ammunition rooms. The ship's massive weight now works against her. Momentum rolls Barham further, exposing her red hull to the sky. Then a roar from deep inside. Flames burst through the superstructure. The main magazines ignite. In a single instant, the battleship splits apart. Turrets, armor, and men are thrown skyward in a column of fire and black smoke. The sound is felt in the bones of every sailor in the fleet. Shrapnel rains down over the water. Where Barham stood, there is now only chaos, debris, burning oil, and the stunned silence that follows disaster. The sea, moments before so calm, is torn open. In less than 5 minutes, one of Britain's greatest warships is gone. Nearly 1,400 men served aboard HMS Barham on her final voyage. When the torpedo struck and the ship rolled, there was no time for order, only instinct and chaos. Some sailors scrambled for ladders that turned into sheer walls. Others fought through smoke and rising water. In just 4 minutes, the sea claimed 862 lives. Survivors remembered the deafening roar, the rush of flame, and the shock of cold water mixed with burning oil. Many clung to floating wreckage, faces blackened with soot, waiting for rescue as the sun set over the wreckage. For those pulled from the sea, the memory of friends lost in the blast would remain, an unspoken bond carried for the rest of their days. News of Barham's destruction never reached the public in 1941. The admiral imposed an immediate blackout, citing national security and the need to protect morale. Official letters arrived at family homes, brief, formal, and stamped with secrecy. Each one carried a warning. Do not share this information beyond your closest kin. Do not speak to the press. Do not place notices in any newspaper. For weeks, more than 800 families waited in silence. Forbidden to mourn openly or to seek comfort from friends, rumors spread, but the truth remained locked. Behind closed doors, only in late January 1942, after every next of kin had been notified, did the government finally confirm the loss. The public announcement, certain 2 months after the sinking, accompanied by a somber broadcast and a request for national silence. For many, the wound of enforced secrecy never fully healed. On November 25, 1941, more than 800 lives were lost in less than 5 minutes when HMS Barham exploded and sank, an event captured on film and seared into history. The Board of Inquiry confirmed that 3 torpedoes from U-331 triggered the magazine detonation. Yet Admiralty records show the details were kept secret until January 1942, leaving families in uncertainty for weeks. some operational files remain restricted, with the full sequence of the disaster and certain communication logs still not publicly released. The wreck, discovered in 1989 at a depth of 250 meters off Egypt's coast, is now a protected war grave. Barham's loss marked not just a human tragedy, but a turning point in naval warfare, as battleships gave way to submarines and new tactics. Today, her story stands as a documented reminder of both the cost of war and the enduring need to confront its truths.